Next guest is Morocco's ambassador to the UN, who has said that the instrument of a referendum in the Western Sahara has been, quote, well dead and buried for more than 2 decades. There is no way you can raise the dead. And Ambassador OMAR HILALE joins me now from New York. No way you can raise the dead, sir. Correct? You stand by that?
Yes, I stand by that, and it's not me who is saying that. It's the Security Council that is not mentioning anymore the referendum in its 21 resolutions and since 20 years.
The Moroccan army entered a buffer zone last week to open a road linking Western Sahara and Mauritania, which had been blocked by the Polisario Front. They now say by doing that, Morocco has fatally undermined the 1991 ceasefire, accusing Morocco of being an occupying force. To which you say what, sir?
First of all, we should know why this happened. On the 21st of October, Polisario bring women and children and block the crossing point of Gargarat. Immediately, the Secretary General have been alerted by Morocco, and we alerted also the Security Council. And since 21st of October, Secretary General made 2 calls to Polisario to withdraw from Gargarat, not to block civil and commercial traffic, and also not to change the statutes of this area. We have been requested by the Secretary General to abstain to do anything, and we refrain from taking any action during 10 days. But as you know, there is time for diplomacy and time for action. And following the refusal of Polisario to comply with the 2 calls of the Secretary General, Morocco had no other choice than shoulder its responsibilities and undertake a civil and engineering operation. This operation was completely civil, and it was in daylight and with the presence of the UN observers. No civilian have been hurted, no civilian have been touched, and immediately Polisario took the civilians and children and armed elements and just left the area. The
head of the UN, Mr. Guterres, let me just put this to you, sir. The head of the UN, yes, Mr. Guterres, has warned that the clashes could rupture this nearly 30-year ceasefire, and he says have grave consequences. I spoke to the Polisario's representative at the UN, Dr. Sidi Omar. Have a listen to what he told me.
Indeed, we have declared that we have resumed our legitimate struggle for liberation, a war that we fought against Morocco for 16 years, at the end of which we forced Morocco to sit on the negotiating table and agree with us on the settlement plan that led to the ceasefire and the hope of a self-determination referendum. 30 long years of waiting for the referendum to be held, for us exercising maximum restraint and being extremely patient, have just emboldened Morocco to go on and continue the occupation of our land. So we have been left with no other option but to resume our armed struggle against Morocco until we end the occupation of our land and bring freedom to our country.
And he went on to say, sir, that Morocco insisting that it is committed to a ceasefire is a, quote, bluff. Your response?
I will be very clear. You know, we are used to this propaganda of Polisario. Polisario is resorting to false propaganda. Morocco is sticking to facts. And as the second president of the United States, John Adams, says, facts are stubborn things. Facts are, it's Polisario who came with civilians and with armed elements to Gargarat. It's Polisario who declared officially that they are breaking the ceasefire. It's Polisario who is firing on the Moroccan army. you will not find a single declaration by Morocco saying that we withdraw from the ceasefire or the political process. His Majesty the King spoke to the Secretary General, and he reaffirmed to him our commitments to the ceasefire, to the political process, and to the resuming of the political process.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you, what is the political solution, as far as you are concerned, that Morocco is willing to offer to maintain peace and avoid what no one wants, which could be a full-blown war?
No, there's only one political solution. Political solution is a large autonomy under the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Morocco. This political solution has been considered since 2008 by the Security Council as credible and serious. And this large autonomy have been even discussed during the round tables, the two round tables that we took under the leadership of the former president, Horst Kohler. So within this large autonomy, everything will be possible. Outside this large autonomy, there is nothing other. And I just want to say that, you know, when a party is declaring that war and also withdrawing from ceasefire, they have no place in the round table. They just disqualify themselves from any political solution.
The King of Morocco has warned that his country would react to any more aggression in the Western Sahara with, quote, the greatest severity. Is Morocco genuinely prepared to fight a war? And how damaging could that be for the wider region, sir?
You know, in his letter to the Secretary General and also the calls that His Majesty had with the Secretary General, he was very clear by, first of all, renewing our commitment to the ceasefire, supporting the efforts and the good offices of the Secretary General presently, and also committed to resuming political process. What Morocco will do if he's attacked, just as His Majesty just said, we will defend ourselves and we will just use our self-defense. That's what happened during the last days. We are not going to war, but we are ready to defend civilians, to defend our territory and our territorial integrity. And it's a choice that Polisario had and also their backers. I just want to mention here that, you know, a large number of the international community supported Morocco in its action to restore civilian and commercial traffic in Guerguerat. Polisario have not been supported. Only one country, Namibia, and second country, the main backer, Algeria. No other countries. The OIC supported Morocco. The CCC, the Gulf countries supported Morocco. Many Africans, around 20 African countries. Look, the declaration made by the European Union and European countries, Latin Americans, Caribbean, Pacific. So Morocco didn't resort to war. Morocco wanted just to restore traffic, trade, commercial and civilian traffic. And Morocco is committed with Secretary General. We will never violate our commitment with the Secretary General. One more word about the commitment with the others. Former or late Kofi Annan said once that never trust 100% armed group or separatists because they have no international obligations. And that's what happened with Polisario. Polisario is not respecting the ceasefire and not respecting his commitment with the UN. And, you know, today we are celebrating the International Day of Children. And you know what Polisario is doing? It's just mobilizing children. They sent children to Guerguerat, and now they are mobilizing and arming children to war. They just hijacking their roots and their life. That's what's the nature of Polisario.
And we will leave it there, but we thank you very much indeed. That is the Moroccan perspective on what is an escalating situation that nobody wants to see develop into a wider issue. Your perspective has been incredibly important. Thank you very much indeed for